So the mystics would have a practice of preparing before bedtime because they recognized that when they go to sleep, when they go into deep sleep, like REM sleep, there's an aspect of their soul. There's an aspect of their soul that levitates beyond their body, that goes higher and higher, and that enters into a far, far, far loftier space. And in that space, the soul convenes with the rest of its soul, with the greater soul, with the higher self. And in that space, that fragment, that self, merges with the collective and charts out exactly what it agrees to and what it doesn't agree to for its journey, what it wishes to expand to. There is nothing that an individual incurs or takes on in their journey that they did not previously agree to in communion with their higher self. And when their creative splinter of their soul, goes to commune with the higher self, there are other aspects of the body spirit. There's the body spirit, which is much more of like an evolutionary matrix. It is designed to control your appetite, make sure you take care of yourself. It has evolutionary responsibilities. It's your body consciousness. Some people would call it an ego. That aspect is now dormant, is not protected by the soul. It lies there alone. And there are other aspects of soul that pertain to the spirit, which is the cognitive faculties. And those aspects too can wander or are alone. And without a proper what the mystics called binding, unification, a exercise of unification, then the different aspects of the soul, of the spiritual aspects of consciousness, they will not work together. Some will be attracted to some places and some will be attracted to partner with other things. And then the individual will wake up in the morning with all this drag, all this dissonance, heaviness, and it would be very difficult for them to realign it, come through it, and create a cohesive ascent for their day. Because when an individual is sleeping, their emotions are real. And individuals in their sleeping hours, they hit very, very powerful emotional cadences, emotional expressions. And those emotional expressions are strong enough to inadvertently open up a portal to commune with like energy in a different space, measure for measure, based on the emotional core. In fact, the mystics believe that individuals at times will be bound to negative energy. They call them negative angels, or they would say it's latent suffering or damaging aspects of the soul that were left behind, that did not go to the light, or were left on the astral plane to deconstruct and turn into some cosmic sludge for reprocessing. Those aspects are emotional, creative expressions that were given life during a journey, but to the point where it detached itself from the actual person. So it becomes a emotional expression that is almost like a broken record player. It's on repeat, and it will keep going that emotional height and that trauma again and again. And individuals called those, historically they called them ghosts. Mystics called them mazikin, destructive forces. All these energies are running rampant on the astral plane. The astral plane is right above this earthly material existence, and it is below the angelic levels. And so there were exercises that were done to unify the ego, the bodily consciousness, the nefesh, the abstract cognitive capacities of the spirit, together with the soul in its journey with the higher self. The benefits of this are multifold, because on that level, on that high vibration, an individual will find that their appetite will shift, they'll lose weight, they'll have more energy. A lot of trauma will just cease to bind. A lot of the destructive, energetic frequencies cannot dance with that high vibration of the higher self. Alternatively, individuals that go to sleep in a space of discontent, apathy, anger, these individuals, they are readily extending in their sleeping hours. They're readily shredding the dimensional integrity in their circle, opening avenues for creative forces that do not have their best interest in mind to parasitically corrupt the integrity of the individual's own nature. And so the individual will naturally be happy, they're waking up depressed and sad. An individual who would be very upbeat, they're waking up very sluggish. And the individual will be easy to be quick-tempered, will easily feel downcast and sad. And the reason why is because there's all this destructive inertia that's binding onto them, that is vibrating at a frequency that is very base. And so it is seducing the heart to follow that frequency, to follow along in that order. It's almost like if I tell you to sing the national anthem and then 5 people are singing some other song in your ear and you're trying to hold key. And it's, unless you're a very trained musician, then you can find it very difficult to hold key with all that other dissonance in the background and foreground. And so the mystic would have certain exercises that they would do in order to ensure that when their soul expands and goes on high to converge with its greater self, that there is a continuity, almost like a lifeline, that is attached to all aspects of their consciousness, that permeates their circle of influence and is able to bring all aspects of self, their body, their soul, their spirit, their ego, all of it to a higher space for dynamic creation in the days ahead.